Year 7. Today we're starting our new topic on measurement, and today we're going to look at converting units of length. So let's fill in some blanks up the top here. The meter is the basic metric unit of length. So we have other units that we use to measure lengths, like the kilometers and centimeters and so on. But the meter is what we call the basic metric unit that all of those other ones stem from. When converting to smaller units, you are going to need to multiply by some power of 10. So it could be 10, it could be 100, it could be 1,000. A smaller unit means that you need more of them when you're converting, and so that's why it makes sense to multiply. When converting to a larger unit, you're going to need to divide by a power of 10. So that will again be either 10, 100, or 1,000. A larger unit means that you will have to have lots of them to fill up one unit, so there will actually be less of them as a result. Now, to help that make more sense, we have this conversion diagram here to complete. So what I want you to do is to draw arrows. As we go across the top, our arrows are going to be pointing to the right. So going from meters to centimeters, we draw an arrow going across, arrow coming across to the right. Now, to convert those, because we're going into smaller units each time, we're going to be multiplying. Now, there is 1,000 meters in a kilometer. There is 100 centimeters in a meter, and there is 10 millimeters in a centimeter. If we want to go the other direction, so arrows going in the other direction now, we are going from smaller units into bigger units. So it's still going to be the 1,000, 100, and 10, but these ones are going to be dividing. So this is a very useful diagram to have on your study sheet or in your notes somewhere to help you convert units. When reading scales, be sure about what units are showing on the scale. Okay, this one, when we look at it, we can see that we've got the centimeter is from this line to this line is 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters. But we also have the millimeters being the little individual lines in there are all 1 millimeter each. So to use this little ruler here, this scale would show if we're starting here at 0 and we want to finish up here to read off that measurement. If we do this in centimeters, we have 3 full centimeters, then we would need a decimal point, and each one of these little lines, we'd count them up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so it would be 3.6 centimeters. Or you could have written that measurement in millimeters, and that would then make that 30 for the 3 centimeters, 36 millimeters. So it doesn't matter which one you choose as long as you include the correct unit with your answer. Alright, so let's practice now with our examples. I'm just making this a bit smaller so we can see our conversion diagram up the top there. We want to convert to the units given in the brackets. So for the first question, we have 3 meters, and we want to change that into centimeters. So using our diagram up here, to go from meters to centimeters, I follow this arrow that goes from meters to centimeters, that little yellow arc that I've drawn there. And that tells me I need to multiply by 100. So there's a couple of ways that you could write this. You could either put a little multiply by 100 here, telling you what to do. But probably a better thing to do is to start with the number that you've been given. So I've been given 3 meters, and I want to multiply that by 100 because that's what my diagram told me to do. And that is equal to 300 100, and I have to include my new units, which are centimeters. Let's try that again for part B. So this time I have got 4,200 millimeters, and I want to go to meters. So find the millimeters on the diagram. Here it is down here. And I want to get to meters. That means I've actually got two jumps. I have to go to the centimeters first and then to the meters. Now, if I do the same kind of working out as the first question, I start with the 4,200. That was my starting number. And now I need to follow my arrows across my diagram here. I need to divide by 10 and I need to divide by 100. Now, some of you are very good at jumping decimal places around, or some of you may want to use your calculators for this, and that's okay as well. So when I do 4,200 divided by 10 divided by 100, you will get 4.2 meters. Don't forget to include the units in your answer. One more time, we have 25,600 centimeters, and we want to go to kilometers. So centimeters are here. To get to kilometers, I'm going to have to go that way and another bounce to there. So our working out, we're starting with 25,600. Following my arrows, I will need to divide by 100 and then divide by 1,000. So that, of course, is going to jump my decimal place back 5 places for those 5 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 makes that 0.256 kilometers. Okay, so we're going to be practicing using that diagram in the questions that you're going to do shortly. But there's still more that you need to be able to do. On the next page, question 2, it says, add these lengths together and give the result shown in the units shown in the brackets. So I want to add together 6 centimeters and 8 millimeters. And the millimeters that is written here in brackets means that I want to write my answer in millimeters. So when that happens, that means that I want to start by having both of my measurements in millimeters. So the 8 millimeters is fine. The 6 centimeters though, I need to convert it. So to convert 6 centimeters using that diagram on the last page up here again, so 6 centimeters to get to millimeters, I need to times it by 10. So I go 6 times that by 10. 6 times 10 is 60 millimeters. Now that both of my measurements are in millimeters, I can add them together. So I have 60 millimeters for the first one. I have 8 millimeters for the second one. So that means altogether I have 68 millimeters. Okay, and question 3, we're going to be reading some measurements off the scales that we're given. Be careful with the units, remember. So in the first ruler that we have here, we can see that we've got centimeters written on the ruler. So each little between 1 and 2 here is 1 centimeter, which means each of the little spaces in between are millimeters. So you could do an answer in centimeters or you could do an answer in millimeters. That's okay. So let's count. This would be the 0 line starting here. We have 1, 2 full centimeters. So 2 point, and then count the little ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2.5 centimeters. Or if you just wanted to count all the little spaces, that would be the same as 25 millimeters. Either one is fine. It hasn't told me that it wants it in one or the other. So as long as you're writing the units down, then it's okay for you to choose which one you want to do. In part B, this is a little bit trickier because the space that we're trying to measure doesn't start at 0. So just be careful with this. We're starting here on that little line there, and we're finishing here. Now also these are in meters. Important to know that we've got a different unit here. So let's count. Each one of those little lines in there is going to be a 0.1 of a meter. So we're going to go count these spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spaces. So that means that's going to be 0.7 meters. Or if you wanted to, you could have converted that into centimeters, which would be 70 centimeters. And one more question here for today. Use subtraction to find the difference between the measurements and give your answer with the units shown in brackets. So this is like what we did in question 2, but this time we're subtracting. We want our answer to be in centimeters, so I need both of these measurements here to be in centimeters, and neither of them are. So both of them need to be changed. This first one, the 0.5, it's in meters. To change that to centimeters, thinking of that diagram, you can look back at it if you need to. To get from meters to centimeters, you times by 100. So that's 50 centimeters. Now for the second one, we have 30 millimeters. To convert that into centimeters, I'm going to have to divide by 10, which means 3 centimeters. Now we're told that we need to subtract. It says use subtraction. So the first measurement was 50 centimeters. I want to subtract the second one, which was 3 centimeters, which means my final answer, 50 minus 3, is 47 centimeters. Okay, so that is what you're going to be practicing today. So you need to go to your workbook now and do the questions from exercise 1, which is on pages 2 to 4.